y'all? It's your girl, Sydney Wright, full time hooper, full time coach's kid. And I'm here with my co host, NBA draftee, UT basketball legend, professional coach of over 20 years, NBL coach of the year 3 times, NBL championship winner 3 times, my best friend, my dad, Joey Wright. And you are here watching the second episode of the Coach's Kid podcast. Before we get started, I just want to give thanks to everyone who tuned into episode 1. We got a lot of praise, a lot of gratitude. I've never done anything like this before. Dad, you've done several podcasts, been guests on a lot of podcasts, a lot of shows. But for me, this is new, but also something that definitely just felt right. We have a lot of conversations about basketball. We always have. From as long as I can remember, we've always been able to talk the game, whether it's, talking about the mental side of things, whether you're telling me stories about your own experiences with your teams or your playing days, whether I'm asking questions, whether you're getting on me about something, but we've always talked about basketball. So being here, being able to share this with y'all means a lot to the both of us. And I'm just glad I get to have this experience with you.
Well, I'm definitely excited to have this basketball experience with my daughter. I always enjoyed talking basketball, hanging out with you. So talking basketball and hanging out like that just goes together. So this is just perfect for us to be able to get on here and express and talk and get a voice out. So let's roll.
Yeah. I think it's super rare, but also very special when two people can share a similar passion. And for it to be so genuine. I think a lot of the times we do see parents and kids, or the kid follow in their parents' footsteps, but it's not always genuine. And that's one thing I can say about us sharing this passion is you've never, made me watch basketball games. You never told me I had to play. You never made me go work out. You never made me do any of
Yeah.
that stuff, despite you being so involved in it. Um, you never forced that on me or any of my siblings. So I know that it definitely comes from the heart when we get to share this passion together.
Which brings us to our topic for the day, which is how much or how involved should we be in our kids' existence? Should we be pushing them? Uh, do we make them go play the game? How much force do we put into it as a parent who wants to see them do well? So, good segue. We'll definitely discuss this and get it out there, but I think it's something that all parents struggle with. How much do we push our kids to do what they say? And my general rule was basically, if you tell me you want something, then you're gonna have to tell me how you're gonna get it, and then you're gonna have to act like that. So, my job as a parent is to help reinforce that. Like, okay, this is what you said you're gonna do. I'm happy to pick you up and drop you off, and I'm happy to pay for it. But the drive has to come from you. I don't believe in pushing kids. If they say they want to dream, I'm gonna be there to support every bit of it. But I don't believe in pushing any athletes to do anything. That's got to be on them. So
Yeah.
you remember our first. This is how I knew you really wanted it, and I didn't have to push you. Is when you first, start being interested in basketball. I don't know if you remember this story, but you want me to come out and train you, and I told you you had to go out and make 10 consecutive left-hand layups in the front yard before I train you. And, and for the first week, you come back in crying, crying. I can't do it. I can't do it. And I go, well, I guess you don't want me to train you. And I'll just go to the other room. Now, I peeked outside that window on every shot. I act like I wasn't engaged. I act like I wasn't looking. But I looked through windows. I peeked through doors. I was watching every single. And then when you head back to the house crying, I would just go sit in the chair, act like I didn't see you. And then the one day you did it, you ran back in there so happy, and you was excited, and I was like, okay, she's ready. I don't know, how old were you then? Do you remember this?
And I know we were living on the Gold Coast at the time,
Yeah,
so
we were.
I must have I must have been about 10, 9 or 10. And when you're telling the story, I feel like it didn't take me that long, but it probably did take me a while to make those 10 left hand layups in a row. Um,
And that was just to see if your focus
yeah.
and love and passion was there.
I remember, and still today, people ask me, did your dad, make you play basketball? Or they'll say, you probably didn't have a choice but to play basketball. And it's funny because you never, ever was like, hey, we gonna sign you up for the team. You're on the team. Get out there and play. It was never like that. But I was always around it. And I remember some of my earliest memories from being a little girl was being in the front yard shooting because we had a hoop. No kids played, but we had a hoop in the front yard at every house. I don't know if that was for
Look
you
at me.
or
I
I don't know
played.
why we had the hoop.
Me. I still,
uh,
I'll still go shoot around. We had a hoop now,
yeah,
and I still go shoot around. So I
yeah,
love
we
it.
had a hoop for whatever reason. But and then going to y'all's practices. Now, I don't know why I wasn't in daycare, but I was at y'all's practices from what seemed like every day.
Because daycare
From
was
when we were in
$65 a day, and practice was free. That's why.
I was at practice from the ages of 3 to 6, almost every day. And
Mm.
I don't ever remember complaining about going. I always loved being there. I always
Oh, you
loved being
loved it.
around.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love being in the gym. You were still playing pickup.
Mm.
Um, and I would go with you. And even once I
Yep.
got older, 10, 11, 12, 13, I would still come and watch y'all practices. I mean, up until my last few years in high school, I would still come and watch y'all's practices and just sit there and, watch y'all do scout, watch the guys scrimmage, watch them shoot, watch y'all do y'all's drills. And that has always been fun to me. Um,
Did it make you a bit nervous? Like, did you have to live up to that? Like, because us breaking down scout at a high level, you watching us do video sessions. Um, did any of that get you go, wow, I'm gonna have to replicate this, or did it ever make you nervous, or did it make you feel comfortable?
um, I don't think it made me feel nervous. I will say, I think I took that for granted for a long time. And being around so many successful basketball players for my entire life, I thought that was the norm. And I thought that was the bare minimum. I thought that was the norm. And so, if at any point I felt like in my head I wasn't going to make it to that level, that was scary to me because I felt like I would have been failing. Um,
Oh,
it wasn't really until I graduated college and I saw a lot of my teammates, all of my teammates at this point, not move on to play professional basketball. That made me realize, like, okay, this is really, really special, and not everybody gets the opportunity to continue playing after school. um, so I wouldn't say it made me nervous, but it definitely probably altered my perception on how special the game is and how rare it is that people have the opportunity to play for a living.
well, you made one point one time. You were disappointed in your play, or disappointed in where you were at in your game at that particular time. And I remember you saying, I was like, you don't understand, like what you've done. Not many people get to do. Like you've earned a scholarship to go to college and something, and you're going to have an opportunity to go play professionally. And I remember you saying, like that's no big deal. Like everybody I know has done that. And I thought
Mhm.
about it. I was like, yeah, I guess so, because our circle was so inundated with basketball players and people who had achieved a lot in basketball. I guess maybe that didn't at that time you didn't think that was a big deal. Hopefully now you understand how special that was when less than 1% kids get athletic scholarships and the ability to travel around the world and play. You played in the NCAA tournament. Like not many people get to do that. You had the
Yeah.
chance to talk to Larry Bird. Larry Bird, like that was nuts. Uh,
Yeah. I shot
we
in
had
front
an
of Larry
opportunity.
Bird. Yeah.
We had an opportunity to go into Indiana Pacers practice when Sydney was doing the AAU tour, and they opened the doors. They gave us full access, except for one thing: don't talk to Larry. Whatever you do, remember they told us don't talk to Larry. So me and Sid was watching the practice and so forth, and Larry walked in and he came and sat near me and Sid. And they also told us not to shoot during practice, but on the breaks or whatever that Sid could get up and shoot. We could have some shots. So Sid got up and shot a few, and Larry goes, "Oh, nice shot." Now I'm sitting there. I'm only two people away from Larry, my idol, guy I grew up idolizing. And I want to say something, but I'm told not to, so I don't say anything. But he starts talking to Sid about basketball, and I think I was jealous for about 3, 4 months. I just want to, just if Larry could have just said hi to me, I would have been happy. But that was pretty cool. So you've done some amazing things. That to me is one of the biggest, though. Just to let you know.
Just
Yes, that was one of the
noted.
biggest. But no, you've done some great things. But sometimes I think you can get dumbed down by being in a high pressure situation, not understanding that that is elite level and that not a lot of people get there, and you should be really satisfied if you do. So
Yeah. And I am, and I'm glad that now I think I have a totally different perspective on it. When I was going through it and in it, I don't think I didn't understand what I was being exposed to. Um, Learning so much and just soaking up so much knowledge, not just from you, but from the players as well, who, at this age now, I can still go and lean on a lot of your guys and consider them brothers. Uh, guys like Adam Gibson, Chris Goulding, Shannon Shorter, Jack McVeigh, uh, Majuk Dang, Mitch Creek, like the list goes on. So many guys that I can call and say, hey, like, I don't know how to handle this situation. What did you do when you were first starting out? Or can you help me get to this point? Or whatever it may be.
those are proud moments for me too. Like to see um, players that I've influenced and helped shape their identities come back and share that with you. I know last year Jack McVeigh had a sit down conversation with you for a while, and I just I wasn't involved in that, but to sit back and just see that happening and see him take the time, as Jack always does. He's great and very gracious with his time. But the fact that he, just coming back from the NBA to sit there and spend some time with you on helping you get better, that stuff is always really cool for me to see. Really
Yeah.
cool.
So I want to talk about one of the things that we see a lot, and we both work with kids and parents. Um, And something that I think is difficult for a lot of parents to identify is, how do you know when your child has that special gift in them? And how do you separate your dream from your child's dream, if they have it or not? They may not have it.
Well, For me, a lot of stuff that idea coming up was to really test you to see if you had the love for the game. I didn't care how good you were at that particular time because no 9-year old girl or boy is good as much as people try to say they are. I mean, the best 9-year old can't beat the worst 15-year-old. The best
Right.
15-year-old can't beat the worst 20-year-old. So it's not about where you're at any particular time. It's about you putting together the skills, the having the heart, tenacity to work through stuff, and just have that love. And if you have that love, and you have the focus, and you have the direction, then there's no way you don't get successful. What levels you reach at it really comes down to then your physical makeup. I
Hmm.
maximized every opportunity I could. Physical makeup didn't get me over the line. Um, so I just, as for the NBA, it obviously allowed me to play some high level collegiate ball and play overseas and so forth. But I just think identifying that. So that's the first thing I did is identify your passion and your love for it. Then once I identified that, then I knew I had to teach you, okay, let me teach her now how to approach this game and how to respect this game and what's lovely about this game. And also, as I still do, I'm on you about the traps. Staying away from the traps of this game too. Inflated ego, the looking for attention and admiration from people outside of who you are. Staying locked into what the game is important about the game, the communication, the discipline, the motivation, like that stuff. Like I'm still, I still on you,
Hmm.
and you do a great job. So I'm not even tripping on it, but I definitely identified early you had to love, and then you definitely had to focus. This girl does not leave the gym, so you had to focus, and it just to this day I'm still proud to see like that you're my daughter, just how you go about the game, how you respect the game. So I remember Majuk Dang telling me that one time. He's like, man, your daughter must love this shit. Like she's always in here. Like even when you don't come, she here. Like what's she crazy? His exact words were, "She crazy, man. She crazy." So
Yeah. And I think it's funny too because when I first started off playing, I wasn't very good. I was not a natural talent.
no,
Um,
no.
and I got cut from a lot of teams. I was surprisingly very tall for my age when I first started playing. For those who know me, I am, or for those who don't know me, I am only 5'4". But when I was 10, I was also 5'4". So at the time, I was really tall. We thought we were coming on something, and
I thought I had me a footer. She got kicked out of gymnastics for being too tall.
right, they told me I was
That
too
lady
tall
could
for
only sit you down.
gymnastics. Yeah. So I still get people to this day. I'll tell them I play basketball, and they're like, "You?" I'm like, "Yes, me." But anyways, I think not having that just raw talent from a young age, I knew I had to work hard at it because I wasn't that good. And I think that was the underlying factor. I knew that I really, really, really wanted to do something with this game. And I didn't always know what that was going to look like. Um,
Mm.
I just felt drawn to it.
Yeah, and I don't think it's important for you to always know. Like I don't think it's important for you to always know what you want to do with this. What about just playing because you like the game? Like it's fun.
Hmm.
Like I think one of the problems with kids nowadays, way too often, and not just kids but parents as well, everything's got to be played for something. I'll play in this tournament if it's going to be some scouts there. I'll play here if I get a scholarship. I'll do this if I get something. And I think we just lose the damn, just what about just playing for fun? Like, I did
Right.
not even realize that the NBA was an option and that I was playing to make the NBA. Yeah, I wanted to play in the NBA, but I didn't even realize it was an option till we're sitting at the cafeteria table, and two of my teammates got drafted into the NBA. And
Mm-hmm.
that's when I first kind of realized, man, if they could do it, I might have an opportunity to do this as well. But I just play because I love the game. I still think it's fun. Like, I think it's a fun game. And that's exactly what it is, a game. It's not life,
Yeah.
but it can help you through life. It can help you, face a lot of things that come in life. But it's still a game. And I just like playing it. And I'm glad you had that same love for just playing it. Sometimes I want you to get out of that phase, though, where you playing it for something and just say, man, this is just fun to bounce the ball today. So,
Yeah. Yeah. And you make a good point. A lot of parents too can put that onto their child, that mindset onto their child. Me and you, we talk a lot about AAU parents, right? Crazy. They're crazy.
crazy.
Like, period. They're just crazy. And a lot of them don't really have experience playing basketball. They just know or feel like their child is a special talent and he's or she is going to get it by any means necessary, whether the child necessarily wants that or not. um there's so much money being put into the game, and rewards and success, and unfortunately I do think that some parents let that get the best of them, and they feel like, hey, my child's going to the NBA or my child's going
Yeah.
to the NFL. And it's like, I don't even think your child really wants to go to the NFL. Let them decide how much this game means to them, rather than putting that on them.
Yeah, everybody's going to have more fun if you approach it for the right reasons. The parent will have more fun, the kid will have more fun. And then once you get to a certain point, you can go, okay, I want to do this serious, where it's more stakes, where money start to be involved, and maybe scholarships and or sponsorships or whatever it may be. And so, once that stuff starts happening, that's a whole different ball game. Parents, if they got to turn again and adjust to what professional sports looks like, and all the evils that come with it,
Mhm.
especially from the agents. Not
Especially
that
from
all
the
agents,
agents.
not all agents are bad, but just it is some out there that make it tough for others. And just yeah, it's so many different developments. You find your love for it, and your passion for it, and you play that for a while, and then if you want to get the stakes a little higher, make a state team or make an AAU team or a travel team, it gets a little bit more intense. Then from there, you go into the collegiate world where it gets really, 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 really intense. And then after that, if you still love it after all that, then the professional ranks is there where obviously the pressure and intensity rises even more. And, just somewhere along the lines, as a parent, just you got to be there and be supportive and enjoy some of this, because it does get tougher and tougher as it goes up. But just you got to enjoy it. Like, that's why I don't come to see you play a good game. I come to see you play a game. Anytime you're
Hmm.
out there bouncing your ball in warm ups, slapping people with high fives, and enjoying yourself, I've already won. I won. Like, I'm now if you play well, that's just a bonus. But I'm not a stat checker. That stuff don't matter to me. It's about how you approach the game.
Yeah, absolutely. And to go off your point, at the collegiate level, the way that this NIL money is flowing and starting to be pumped into collegiate sports is
Was
starting
pro,
to
isn't
shake
it?
some stuff up.
Yeah, it's now that I think those last two phases I talked about, the collegiate level and the professional level, that's almost merged now, because
Right.
the psychology, the money that's being thrown around at the collegiate level, and just the it's crazy. Like, all of a sudden, everybody obviously want to stay in college now because of the NIL money, and
Hmm.
which we'll definitely talk about at some point. We got to talk about that at some point, but
We do.
yeah.
We'll hit that. We'll hit that another episode because that's an episode in itself. I think we both have some opinions on NIL money and collegiate sports. But
Yeah.
one thing I do want to ask is, in your opinion, and we hear this word a lot, we hear this word thrown around a lot from kids, parents, whoever. I'm a dog. Everybody wants to be a dog nowadays. Everybody, I'm cut different, I'm built different, I'm a dog.
Mhm.
To you, in your opinion, what is a dog and what does that mean to the game?
Yeah. Well, I think it's been misconstrued. Right now, a lot of players think a dog is a guy who is all super aggressive. Shoot bad shots, shoot any shot. Will definitely take the game winning shot, and don't care if they make it or miss it. Just they see it as blind aggression. That's what a dog is on offense and defense. Blind aggression. I see a dog as way more than that, and you know, pretty contrary to that. To me, a dog is a person that gets up. Even though they got a flu, a little cold, and it's they got to go run with the team, and it's 6 a.m. and they got a little flu, a little cold, and they get up and they go run. That's a dog. A dog to me is a person that sat on the bench for 2 years, ain't good enough to play, but stay there, keep working on their game, waiting on their time. That's a dog. Um, when the coach comes down on you and pushes you, and you know he's right, and you don't fight back or you don't turn back, even if he's wrong, that's a dog. That's a person that's willing to put up with whatever they have to put up with to achieve their goal and success for themselves and their team. And it ain't always that last second sidestep, fadeaway, twisting 3-pointer that they made or missed that determines whether they're a dog. It's all the other stuff. And I see all these kids, I'm a dog, I'm a dog. Well, you can't even run two suicides or two up and
Mhm.
backs. I don't even know if we can say that word, but you, you can't even get to practice on time. You can't,
Mm,
like, it's so many things that you're not doing that dogs, like, if you got this blind aggression, why are you here at 6 a.m.? Like, why aren't you here,
right,
ready to shoot? Why are we doing weights after this? Why aren't we getting up another 500 to 700 shots outside of practice? Like, that's a
right.
dog. That's a dog to me.
Someone who's willing to get it done by any means necessary with no excuses. I think
You're
that's
a dog.
important.
You're a dog.
I'm a dog.
You're a dog.
I'm a dog. I would say, too, some people have that in them and some people don't. I actually don't think it's something that can be taught, though. I think
It
it's
can,
something that maybe can develop,
right.
but I do think there's a part of it that either you have it or you don't. And I think I'm a good example of someone who always had it, but was never always quote unquote talented. I was not always the star talent growing up. And I've sat on the bench. My first 2 years of college, I did not play at all. My third year of college, I kind of played. It wasn't until my last 2 years that I actually got the shining moments of being able to reap the benefits of what I had sown. But for a long time, I was not playing at all, but I was in that gym every single night without
Every
question.
single night, every single day. Like, even your collegiate coaches would talk to me and be like, I think she's shooting too much. I think she ain't hit too much. Like, what's going on? Like, and I'm like, nah, that's just who she is. She's a dog. Like, she's a dog. She's gonna be in that gym
Yeah.
24/7. Like, it ain't no, if it ain't school, um, you get your little social life on too, though. But
I get my little
you
social
figured out how to
life.
make it work.
I get my little social life on. I am learning the balance as of the last year and a half. I used to really, really struggle. And it's funny too, because people who meet me now would be like, "You struggle to
I know.
socialize?" Because now you would never guess. Now you would be like, "That girl, she likes to have a good time."
Yeah.
Um, but I used to feel so guilty if I did something to enjoy myself outside of basketball. And it could even
Mm.
be on days that I did work out. I could go work out and then let's say, oh, we're going to go out later tonight. As I would feel guilt going out. I could not enjoy that at all. Um, not until the last couple of years, I'll say 2 years for sure, where I was like, you know what? It's a lot more to life than going to work out and playing basketball. There's a lot more to be enjoyed with family and friends. Um,
You could do exactly what you're saying though. Like you got to learn to go put that work in, and then go enjoy the rest of the day just as much as you did when you were putting that work in. Where
right.
before you always hung on to the excitement and the everything that came with basketball, and then tried to make the rest of the world match up to that. And that's not necessarily what we want to do. Like that's like basketball's our escape. That's where we go to fantasize. That's where we go to be great, brilliant. That's where we get our energy out. That's where all that competitive nature. We get all that stuff out, and then we can come back and enjoy the world like we should.
Mhm.
And of course, I've only learned that after I retired from coaching, but I didn't have that balance at all when I coached. But I am so glad I've learned it, and hence the reason why I won't go back and ever coach again, because I'm enjoying the other parts of life way too much.
Oh man, sometimes I do wish you would just go back and coach like one good season and just cause hell. But and I told you this before. You retired is the coolest thing ever to me. The coolest thing ever. You don't ever got to go back and coach. We're totally cool with how things are right now.
Y'all like retiree dad?
We like retired dad, man. We love
I'm still on the
retired
court every
dad.
day. I'm still on the court every day except Sunday. So I'm
At
still enjoying it. I just know how now to frame it. Whereas I
right.
didn't know how to frame it before. I didn't think, if I didn't watch, video 4 times instead of, 2 times, I felt terrible. If I didn't, I didn't sleep after losses. Like for what, probably, yeah, probably 18 years of coaching. If we lost the game, I didn't sleep. I'd watch the
Mhm.
video again. I'd, obsess. I'd walk around the room. I'd, look at notes again. How did I miss this? How did I miss that? Like I never want to be in that position again. Never, 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 never. So, and I'm scared that if I get back, I'll be there again.
Yeah.
It only takes me about 20 minutes to put together a program for a development for a kid. So that's a whole bit different
That's
than
a
2 days.
whole that's a whole different ballpark.
So,
um and I think too, and I honestly didn't realize this until we had this conversation, but I think one of the reasons that I wasn't always able to only see basketball as an outlet, but more so like a savior, was because socially, growing up in Australia between the ages of 12 to 17, and then going to school in Utah for 2 years, socially, I was an outcast. Socially,
yeah.
that was not an enjoyable experience for me at all. I had a couple good friends in high school that I love to death to this day, but other than that, everything else was really, really heavy and pretty hurtful and pretty confusing. Um, and the only thing that felt like was truly mine and nobody could take away from me was was playing basketball and going to the gym. That was for a good 6, 7 years straight. And I think that's when I developed the mindset of I can only be happy when I'm in the gym, which of course isn't true, but I think that's probably what got me there.
Well, the reality of it is, if you're going to play this game and play it at the levels that you played at, you're going to be a little bit of a social misfit. Like you're not going to fit in the square circle, perfectly.
Hmm.
You're gonna be a little bit of a misfit. Like you can't you can't go to every birthday party, if any. You can't go to the mall, on Saturdays and just hang out. Um, if you want to be a social player and reach a certain level, but it's not the end all be all, then yeah, that's cool. Go to the mall, go to some birthday parties, go whatever. But so I think a little bit of who you are was made by that circumstance and not the other way
Right.
around. So be you were going to be that way no matter if you're in the Rodale Drive in in Beverly Hills. You were going to still be playing basketball. Like I just
Yeah.
no matter what, you could have had 1,000 friends, you still were going to be playing basketball. So
Yeah.
I don't think you really missed anything. I think it was just part of who you were and who you are, and that's just what all great players do. I mean, well, look, I think we covered a lot here. What we would like for you guys to do is obviously share this, like and subscribe as well. But more importantly, send us your questions and your topics. Like if you guys want to know how parents look, send your questions in to me. If you want to know how from a kid's perspective, send it in to Sid, and we'll get some of your questions answered. But thank you for letting us share. This is probably more therapy for us than anything, but thank you for letting us share, and we'll see you next week on the Coach's Kid podcast. Don't just talk about it, be about it.